6 o'clock, so call the meeting to order. All members are either present in person or we have one member by virtual attendance. There are no additions to the agenda.
There are a number of additions.
There were a number of additions.
Yep. So I will just call out part of why that is you'll see it, and I'll speak to them, but there are some new event agenda, just replacement positions that our paperwork came in. Summer staffing are on for some of our PAUSE program. The personnel policy handbook was also completed. It is a bit unusual for us. We don't generally add this many additions at this point in the agenda, but we really are focusing on trying to get all of these personnel items taken care of prior to the end of the fiscal year, which is June 30th. So, knowing that if there are any additional questions to those items, please let me know, and I'm happy to speak to those.
So it's recommended by the consent to approve the agenda with the additions. Okay, let's start.
I motion.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call.
Bruce.
Aye.
Rick.
Aye.
Rachel. Aye. Gerald.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Cheryl. Aye. Ron.
I will abstain.
No, this one's just the agenda.
Oh, okay. I say aye.
Okay, it passes. No public comments. We're on to the consent agenda.
Couple of Cheryl, do you want to talk through bills before I go into personnel?
I looked through the bills and nothing jumped out. My one question about where some cash went was answered quickly and easily. And I have to say the office personnel have been really good at answering all of my questions easily. I really appreciate that, but nothing jumped out.
And then in the personnel items, on the hires, letters A through F are replacement positions. So they're resignations and hires. Letter G, Rachel Braun, hers is a last year's assignment, and she is our school nurse. So her assignment is also just a carry forward of last year to this year. The summer assignments, as I mentioned, we will still have some additional summer assignments that are going to come in for some additional hires for the PAUSE staff. But these are the ones that we had and we knew, so we wanted to get those in front of the board for approval. And then letters I and J, those are two that are on there as new positions, but they were approved under the Schedule C when the board approved the master agreement for certified staff. Those were additions and changes, so we wanted to get those on the agenda as well. Within the donations, I do want to call out, there are two, I'm going to pull that up here. We have two donations this, let it load over. So we have the West Central Chapter Minnesota Dark House Anglers Association. They've donated to us a couple in prior years, but it's a $500 donation to our trap team. And then I also want to call out that we received our Paynesville Bulldog Booster Club donation. And the reason I want to call that out is because they are really reinvigorated, and they're doing a lot of active connecting. They're looking for members, and it's really a solid way to help support our activities. And so I just wanted to call out that this was, a nice donation for our softball program for the softball bat. So just wanted to call that out in the donations. And with that, I would stand for any questions on the consent agenda.
Then do we have a motion to approve?
I make the motion.
I'll second.
Rachel seconds. Miranda?
Bruce.
Aye.
Rick.
Aye.
Rachel. Aye. Gerald.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Cheryl. Aye. Ron.
Now, this is for the consent agenda, correct?
Correct.
I'm going to abstain.
Thank you. Okay, that moves on to communication items. Madam Superintendent.
So first thing I'll just pull up is my administrative report. So, this is, Teacher Appreciation Month. I know we talked about that early on, or at the very end of our April meeting. But May is really the month and has the designated week for teacher appreciation. I think it's just always important. And as I was preparing for graduation, I'm doing some graduation practice today. It's really kind of symbolic to see how staff are surrounding graduates, and the teachers are able to kind of celebrate that final achievement in their high school career. But our staff really do such a nice job just meeting kids where they are, celebrating them, challenging them, and they celebrate their achievements beyond high school. And so I just want to say thank you, because I do know that the impact that they have is just, it is profound. And sometimes I think they kind of forget how much, maybe they don't forget, I hope they don't, but I just want to remind them that we are certainly grateful for the support that they provide to our students. Our legislative session wrapped up with a pretty chaotic last day in session. In our June work session, I'll go into a little bit more detail on these items, but I just wanted to call out a few things that did take place. Throughout the session, I was talking about the READ Act and having some revisions that are going to be beneficial. And so I'll highlight those in a little bit more detail in June, but there were some provisions that came through in the READ Act. So that was nice to see. There was also expanded voluntary pre-K slots. There's a lot of emphasis on early education. And so there was some expansion in those programs. There's a focus on a student teacher stipend pilot. You know, I think one of the things that has been really a prominent focus in education and at the legislature is how do we facilitate and encourage and grow our new teachers and student teaching when you have to do that for no salary. It really does become a barrier for some, especially individuals who may want to come back to teaching. So there's a pilot program. There's some expanded use for food service funds from a food service fund balance. I've talked a little bit in the at the board level around like purchasing our ovens, and those are things that have very prescriptive. There's been some expansion to the definition of what you can use the funding for. So we'll keep an eye on that. There's a requirement for districts to adopt a policy on student possession and use of cell phones. So now you will recall partway through this school year, the handbook was revised to prohibit cell phones for our middle school students. And the policy at the beginning of the school year really did prohibit students from having them out during instructional time. So there is an increased focus on making sure that students don't have their cell phones during instruction. And now it's a requirement that we have a policy in place. The secondary school Principal Association is going to be coming out with some best practices and some recommendations. And so I fully expect that we'll see some of those coming throughout the summer as well. Letter F requires MDE to establish clear criteria to evaluate a district's application to a 4-day school week. This legislative session, there was a lot of conversation around 4-day school week applications and whether that could be up to school board's local control, if that had to be an approved through the commissioner. So that was there was a requirement for MDE to thoroughly evaluate and weigh in on the requirements and the application process for 4-day school weeks. Not suggesting I've been asked about it, but I'm just laying it out there that was in the legislative session what actually came through. There is a requirement for schools, if you have the space, to allow for mental health care services through a telehealth by October of 2024. That's something that we are going to have to look into. We've discussed that over the course of years, and there were some concerns about supervision and how those things can work. So I'm hoping to get a little bit more guidance on that so we know what that should look like, and I can speak to that a little bit later in the summer is my hope. There is a requirement to have mental health education instruction in grades 4 through 12 by 26-27. That's aligned to local health standards. that doesn't bother me at all when I look at what our strategic plan has in place around setting some, we already have some, social emotional learning instruction taking place. And so now it's really just kind of hammering into, the standards that is already part of our strategic plan. So I think we're in a good place to address that. And then, the legislature also, clarified some requirements and revised some, just expectations for post-secondary education option students. So those are just some of the highlights that I pulled out. Again, I'm going to go into those in a little bit more depth. The ones that are most applicable to us, specifically around the READ Act with some funding and policies and things like that in June. So those are some of the legislative summaries. And then, as I mentioned, kind of when we talked about the amendments or the additions to the agenda, I do want to just take a second to acknowledge all the work that has gone into our negotiation sessions this year. Our sessions lasted over a year. We've had over 35 negotiation sessions that board members and leadership have been part of, and the union leaders. And there's many hours of meetings outside of those negotiation sessions. And a lot of those did kind of come to a final tentative agreement within the last month. And so I do want to just acknowledge for the staff, the union leadership that has put in the time, effort, and energy to proof all the contracts, make sure everything is right, communicate with the memberships. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of communication. And I'm just grateful that we really did maintain the focus on why we're here. We're here for students, and I've appreciated, it can be a grind, but I sure was grateful for the work that took place. And I just wanted to acknowledge the heavy push that's coming into this board meeting. As we look further down in the agenda, you'll see why there's so much work that has taken place. So I just wanted to say thank you to that. Beyond that, I won't necessarily call out the, let me come down here a little bit, the revenues and expenditures. The only one I'm going to just kind of call out is there's an area of expenditures that is a little bit higher. And the reason for that is because we had the donation in for the sound system for $20,000, and so then that was a purchase out. When our budget is revised, that will be rectified, but I just wanted to kind of call that out as if you're looking at it, you'll see that that's what that is. Any committee or organizational reports? I'll just turn it back over to you, Rick. And
Anybody? Okay. About student representative.
SAD, they're trying to find some new reps for next year, and if people want to switch positions, they can. And the student council, SAD also, we just had update last Thursday, and yearbooks for middle schoolers. And then student council, we just had fun on the Sunday. We're also doing new rep positions like president, vice president, and all that. And then they're starting to plan for homecoming next year already. So, sports, girls varsity golf tomorrow at Oakdale Golf Club. Softball varsity sections, tomorrow as well at St. Cloud Cathedral. And then track and field boys and girls, Thursday at Maple Lake. And then NHS, nothing going on at the moment. And then graduation is May 24th at 7 o'clock at night.
yes. One piece that I will add, if it's okay, around graduation. I had some questions about attendance and how many guests can be at graduation. There was a suggestion of 5 guests per graduate. That's really so we can have a kind of a guide to set some seating. We are certainly not going to turn anyone away. We want people to come and enjoy, but we also want to be mindful of some of our grandparents and allowing for seating when it is when they're able to stand. We might ask them to stand, and whereas if others need to sit, that's part of the rationale of having kind of a suggested. But we certainly are. I want people to know that we are certainly not going to turn guests away. And it is going to be live streamed. I believe that the link has been shared on social media. So you were all practiced up and ready to go today, weren't you?
Yep.
As long as it's just saying, just remind the board at 6 o'clock.
Yep.
They'll hand out and then we'll be walking up.
And then you'll get some directions
Yeah,
from,
yeah.
on, when you get there at 6 o'clock on Friday.
That's it for communication. Okay, there's no old business. So we're gonna move right into new business and the budget.
So I will pull up the revised budget. So this, a part of the reason why this is a little bit later, is because we have accounted for, the settlements and we've accounted for the tentative agreements and really I'm gonna present that so that people can see. Really the reason in the change to the fund balance from what was projected, and approved is, we have had some, higher interest earnings. We've also had some additional, special education revenue that has come in. So those are the two things that have accounted for the differences. Beyond that, it's very similar to what I've showed you over the course of our budget discussions. And I would stand for any other questions that board members might have.
Any questions on the budget?
I'll make a motion that we approve.
Second.
Gerald seconds. Okay.
Bruce,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Rachel.
Aye.
Gerald,
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Cheryl,
Aye.
Ron.
Aye.
It passes. Resolution calling for school district special election.
All right, so this is the last opportunity that we had to legislatively give notice to call for a special election. Our legal counsel has prepared the legal documents to call for the renewal of the capital project levy or the tech levy. And the actual attachment has the language and everything, that's the resource for community members to look at as well. And board members, that has been attached for you as well. I would stand for any questions. Otherwise, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, any questions on the resolution? We talked about this, so should all be familiar.
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution relating to the renewing the expiring capital levy, project levy authorization to fund technology of the school district and calling a special election thereon.
I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded. Miranda.
Bruce,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Rachel. Aye. Gerald,
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Cheryl,
Aye.
Ron.
Aye.
It passes. Adult Basic Education Glacial Lakes Consortium.
So our adult basic ed is provided through a collaboration and a collaborative, and it's the Glacial Lakes Consortium. I will just real quickly, I'm going to pull that up so that you can, we can just kind of review. I'm going to share this out for community members so they can see as well if they watch our recording. You will see that this consortium is made up of ACGC, BBE, Buffalo Lake, Hector Stewart, BLHS, Dassel, Cokato, Hutchinson, Kirkwoven, Murdoch, Sunburg, Litchfield, New London, Spicer, Paynesville, and Wilmer. And then it also includes services for anyone who is attending school through the Candy-Ojai County Jail. So this is a service that's of great benefit because it's a need that we have, and having the consortium has served us well over the course of time. So the recommendation would be to maintain the membership in the consortium.
Make a motion to maintain membership.
As we continue, second by Rachel. Miranda.
Bruce,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Rachel. Aye. Gerald,
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Cheryl,
Aye.
Ron.
Aye.
Okay. Now we're going to move into our master agreement. So there's several here, and Janelle's going to share a few words before we actually get into each.
Sure. So a couple of things that I just wanted to talk through as themes through the negotiation session, because I don't feel like we need to call them out in each one. I certainly will stand for any questions that board members have after reviewing the tentative agreements. But All of the master agreements really did contain legislative language to update definitions. We've talked in the past about earned, safe, and sick time, so that language has been incorporated into master agreements. We've also talked about the cost of our insurance. So every agreement had increase in insurance, and some of our agreements have started to split from a single contribution to a single and a family contribution. I think that's something that went throughout the bargaining unit and bargaining sessions, and board members, you all have sat in on various sessions. So if you want to add to this in any capacity, please feel free. But that was an area where I think the bargaining units and the board felt like we needed to have some conversation because of the cost of healthcare. So that's an area that's also come through. We've also increased the focus on 403B contributions. As contracts look to sunset severance packages and sick leave starts changing over the course of time, 403B becomes, or our matching contributions takes a higher focus, and that is an area that has been brought into many master agreements as well. So with that, I think the most notable within the paraprofessional master agreement that I would like to share with you is that there was a significant increase in the starting wage to $15.82 for our starting wage. And I think that was a good place to try to attract some paraprofessionals into our workforce. So with that, I think I'll maybe just turn it over to you, Rick, and I'll just allow questions to come through.
Okay, so we'll start with the paraprofessional master agreement for 23 to 25. Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the paraprofessional master agreement.
Bruce makes a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Thomas seconds.
Bruce,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Rachel. Aye. Gerald,
Aye.
Thomas,
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
Ron,
Aye.
Passes. Brings us to food service master agreement 23-25.
Not a lot of substantial changes there. One of the things that is unique about the food service master agreement that they do not have steps, as most of our other agreements do. That's been something that changed the last round of negotiations. So there was a contribution to 403B, some insurance increase, and then really tried to build in some consistent language between the custodial maintenance as they're represented through the same bargaining unit. So tried to work on some consistent language as well.
Any questions about the food service master agreement?
Make a motion to approve the food services master agreement for 23-25.
I'll second.
Carol makes motion and Carol seconds.
Bruce,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Rachel. Aye. Gerald,
Aye.
Thomas,
Aye.
Cheryl.
Aye.
Ron.
Aye.
Passes. Brings us to the principal association master agreement for 23 through 25.
With the principals master agreement, I think one of the things to note is that there was no increase on insurance. The other thing that was looked at within the principals master agreement was delineating a step schedule. In years past, it has just been one straight salary, and so there was conversation about the benefits of having a step system within the master agreement for the principals.
Any questions concerning the principal association master agreement? Any motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thomas moves. And
I'll second.
Rachel seconds.
Bruce,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Rachel. Aye. Gerald,
Aye.
Thomas,
Aye.
Cheryl,
Aye.
Ron.
Aye.
Passes. That brings us to community education director agreement for 23 to 25.
So if it's okay with board members, I'm going to lump the next three kind of administrators together. And then again, I'll stand for individual questions as they arise. But between community education, activities director, and the director of buildings and grounds, They were really charged with, staying in the parameters, that they were given by the board. And again, there were some areas or some individuals who prefer to focus on insurance, others, that didn't need the focus on insurance. Within the parameters that they were given, they came in, well within the range that the board had presented for their budget targets.
Okay, first up, Community Education Director agreement. Any questions?
Make a motion that we approve the community education director, agreement.
Gerald moves,
I'll second.
and Cheryl seconds.
Bruce,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Rachel. Aye. Gerald.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Cheryl.
Aye.
Ron.
Aye.
Brings us to, make sure I don't go too far down here. Activities Director agreement, 23 through 25. Any questions? Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Rachel makes a motion.
I'll second.
Cheryl seconds.
Bruce,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Rachel. Aye. Gerald.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Cheryl.
Aye.
Ron.
Aye.
Passes. Director of Buildings and Grounds Agreement, 23 through 25. Are there any questions?
Make a motion that we approve the agreement, for director of buildings and grounds.
Gerald makes a motion.
I'll second.
Rachel seconds.
Bruce,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Rachel. Aye. Gerald.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Cheryl.
Aye.
Ron.
Aye.
That brings us to Administrative Assistant Agreement for 23-25.
So the administrative assistant agreement would be, that's an individually, one sole position. One of the things that I think, I recommended to the board in this, in Miranda's, agreement was that, she have some additional compensation for the website, the technology, the social media. That has been, when Matt Dickhausen transitioned, that's been a responsibility that she's picked up. Over the course of years, we weren't sure how that was going to, what that workload was going to be. And so, you know, we're going to continue to try to get that one right, but, it's been a heavier load. So, I'll stand for any questions around that
Any
position.
questions? You have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Rachel
I'll second.
moves. Thomas second.
Bruce,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Rachel. Aye. Gerald.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Cheryl.
Aye.
Ron.
I'm gonna abstain for the administrative assistant.
Okay. That brings us to the Associate Business Manager Agreement.
So you will notice that the associate business manager agreement is for 1 year. So as, our business manager is transitioning it into retirement, she's kind of phasing in. We have to do some phase in to, support our business management position. So at this moment in time, I'm recommending a 1 year agreement with our associate business manager as we look at how, she may or may choose to support us in that role in the future. So at this point in time, I'm recommending a 1 year agreement with our associate business manager.
Are there any questions?
But with the goal that she would continue.
Correct.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve.
Bruce motion.
Second.
Gerald second.
Bruce,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Rachel. Aye. Gerald.
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Cheryl.
Aye.
Ron.
Aye.
Passes. That brings us to the superintendent contract for 24 through 27.
I don't know, Rick, do you want to speak to this or do you want me to, explain process? Or it seems kind of weird for me to present my
Well,
contract.
we have met with our superintendent and we think she's doing a great job and we wholeheartedly support the contract that we're presenting. Hopefully everyone has had a chance to look at it. Are there any questions about that contract?
No, I make a motion that we approve the superintendent, agreement.
I'll second it.
Okay.
Bruce,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Rachel. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Cheryl.
Aye.
Ron.
Aye.
Okay, then now we're on to personnel policies for support staff.
So I'll pause here for a few more questions because this is, and I'll give this maybe a little bit more in-depth kind of summary because this was one of the additions that came on. So the personnel policies for support staff, that is, it's really a handbook that guides the work for the staff that are covered under this agreement would be like our secondary school principal, or our secondary school administrative assistant, our elementary school administrative assistant, our MARS coordinator, the support staff over in the community ed program, our pause leadership that supports the before school, after school, midday wraparound care. And so a lot of this language is very consistent with a 12-month employee. We have vacation time, we have, and there have not been any changes to those structural components. The salary proposal was commensurate with our other units, and it is also a commensurate to our insurance benefits as it has been with other units in the past. So I'll stand for any questions, but there was not a lot of substantial language changes, nor were there structural contract changes.
Basically, it was written down nicely. So there
Writing
was
it down nicely.
there. Yep.
Mhm. Yep. And following suit with what has been done in years past.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Next motion approved.
Second.
Harold seconds.
Bruce,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Rachel. Aye. Carol,
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Cheryl,
Aye.
Ron.
I abstain.
Okay. Take a deep breath, go. Phew.
That was a lot.
We did a lot of work tonight, which is a culmination of a lot of work over the last few weeks. So thanks, everyone. That brings us to Teacher Appreciation Week.
So this is the formal recognition where the board, does acknowledge in its formal business meeting. There's Governor Walz's proclamation for Teacher Appreciation Week. And then I am going to take just a minute to share and to cast our certified staff, our teachers that we have, because we've got some pretty amazing things that happen within our school district, and our kids are we're very fortunate to have the staff that they have supporting them and serving them. So I'll just pause for a minute to make sure that people can see and recognize the staff that we have, who are our certified teachers.
I always appreciated all the fantastic things that were happening that nobody knew about. Our staff just went ahead and did stuff. Very impressive. It wasn't for notoriety, it was for the kids.
And that's an informational item, so then I'll turn it back to you.
Okay. That brings us to upcoming meetings.
One just notice it's not on here, May 30th, we have custodial. We just added that.
We just added that yesterday.
So that wouldn't have been a really late addition to May 30th custodial,
Thank you.
5 o'clock.
The 5 or 4?
5.
It was 5, okay.
Now, do we have to have a roll call vote to adjourn too?
I would assume so, yep.
I just wanted to mention one about the West Central Ed District. I thought, Janelle, that was the one that was going to actually be done here, the one that's coming up on June 4th. Was that the one that was going to be on site to go through?
Let me double check the location because I think as you say that might be right.
I think that was like the 20.
Oh, no, that's the,
The reason I bring it.
fourth was a virtual meeting.
Okay.
That one's a virtual meeting to review contracts.
Okay, yeah. And the reason I just bring it up real quick, we will be bringing all of the school districts that support the West Central Ed District that are involved in that down here to go through the youth zone house, have an actual walk through that, setting up to see what we can support from curriculum side, what will be used here as far as our facilities for the students that will be attending starting the 24-25 school year. And so it's very, very important to for that district. So
Okay, that takes care of all our business. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Bruce moves to adjourn.
I'll second.
A second, roll call.
Bruce,
Hey.
Rick,
Aye.
Rachel. Aye. Gerald,
Aye.
Thomas.
Aye.
Cheryl,
Aye.
Ron.
Aye.
We are adjourned.